Hey everyone, welcome back to Topisphere. And today, we'll be doing an animal tier list. So this tier list is the first of its kind on the channel because it's completely unscripted. I'm doing this raw, there's no scripting, possibly no editing if we do this well. So let's see how it goes. And yeah, I've tried to record this a few times so the tiers are already there. And we can get into that. S being best of the best, A being great, B being good, C average, D bad, and F horrific. And yes, there's gonna be at least one animal in the F tier. With that, let's begin and let's see how this video goes. So the first animal on the list, previously I called this a honey badger. I don't really know if that's a honey badger. I can't really identify it. Looks like it. I mean, I did a quick Google. Can't really tell, but either way, I'm gonna classify as a honey badger. And if it is a honey badger, I'll put in A. Very cool creature, highly aggressive. They look very unique for what it's worth, and very dangerous. Don't ever go close to one. Next up, the ants. Ants, I mean, I'll put them in B. I get that they are like incredibly sophisticated creatures, the way they communicate with each other, how they build their nest, how they infiltrate places, so to say. Very, very intricate creatures. Quite amazing, honestly. But frankly, at least where I'm from, you don't really see like the cool carpenter ants or like leaf cutter ants, let alone like a bullet ant or something. Just the regular, like the black ones, I don't know what they're called. So, not much of an impression, but I got to give them the respect just for what they are worth and how they interact with the world around them and their own colony. So, I guess B is a good tier. Next up, wolf, I think. Wolf, it looks like a wolf, doesn't really look like a coyote. Wolves, I mean, they look like a big dog. Like, I used to be around huskies and they kind of look like a more ferocious husky. Not much of an impression, I'll just leave it at average. I mean, their pack hunting abilities is like second to none. Very powerful creatures, quite cool. But not much of an impression, so I'll leave it in C. This thing, I don't know, is it a gazelle or whatever it is? It doesn't look like it's definitely not a deer, I can say that. I don't really know what it is, but based on its look, it's one of those like gazelle looking things. Again, it's gonna be an average because not much of an impression on me. Now then we have the American animal, the American eagle, or the bald eagle. Eagles, very cool. Birds of prey are my favorite kind of birds. And the way that eagles like hunt when they swoop down. I mean, I've watched a few bird shows where, you know, they put the prey there, the eagle goes, eats it. Very cool. Of course, the eagle sound that everyone knows is not how they really sound like. But overall, pretty cool birds. I think I'll put them at the top of A tier. Not S tier worthy, I'll say that. Actually, no, on second thought, maybe S tier worthy, but I'll leave it at the top of A for now. Next up, bats. Okay, when I was way younger, I had never seen a bat in my life. So the first time I saw one, I was like, that's pretty cool. Nowadays, when I go for my walk, if I look really well, you can see them flying all around. Pretty cool. I mean, like the whole vampire bat thing is a pretty cool like myth. You know, the bat will like bite you or whatever. Overall, the bats are like, I don't know, I feel like where they normally would be, or like the typical place like a cave or whatnot, if you go in and you're swarmed by bats, I don't think you're gonna have a good time. But for the few instances which I have seen bats, pretty cool, but not much of an impression again. I'll put it probably at the top of C tier. Yeah, that should be good. Next, bear. Apart from having a panda down there, I'm gonna assume that this is like bears like in general. I won't include pandas in this then. Yeah. Okay, so I'll put bears in like S tier. For the simple fact that Japan right now, in this day and age, has to use the military force to eviscerate bears because they're killing too many people. It's rare for humans to, I mean, in our present day and age, back in the day, of course, like the tierlist and whatnot were hunted to extinction, and even the tierlist had like bounties on them, right? But in our day and age, to have a country have military force to take an animal out, it has to be insane. It has to be insane. And I mean, I've heard stories of like, people going into the country, seeing a bear, like fighting for their life just to escape the bear. Yeah, bears are, I mean, I've seen YouTube videos like those people keeping it in the farm and they're like really cute. But in the wild, these are beasts, like really powerful creatures. So S tier. Yet again, military force sending the army to take care of a bear. That's kind of insane. Alright, next up, bees. S tier. So bees similar to ants. Where should I begin? I guess the first thing is that they can fly, which really makes them cooler than ants. Of course, queen ants can fly during mating season and whatever, but that's a different thing. Bees can fly, which is really cool. Second thing is, I've heard this somewhere. I don't really know like the implications, but if we remove all bees from the world will be a very bad place. You kind of need bees. And also in terms of like eusociology and how bees interact with the hive, it's very, very similar to ants. Okay, to be fair, I think a bit A. I don't think S is appropriate considering it's just ants that can fly. Somewhat. That's a joke, by the way. But anyways, they do make honey. And honestly, the way that they swarm, how they defend their nest, defend their queen, forage, I mean, go out to the flowers to pollinate. They are incredibly necessary for the environment, at least in pollination of flowers, creating honey. I mean, honey tastes insane. No offense to the bees, but I would love to try raw honey one day. And yeah, overall, pretty cool creature. Next up, the whale. I'm going to assume this includes all whales unless we see like killer whale or something down below. Oh, dolphins are below. I'm not going to count dolphins then. But I'll put the whale probably in S tier. I mean, they are the largest creatures to date. I mean, in our present era, to date in our present era. I'm not talking about the past. In our present era, whales are the biggest creature. And to be the biggest is pretty insane. Especially like humpback whales that go all the way down and have like battles with the squids. I mean, insane creatures. I've never been whale watching before, but I do recall when I was way younger, I have seen like a whale shark in that Osaka aquarium. And I've pet a few dolphins. But I would love to go whale watching one day. Whales are pretty cool. I mean, their size alone is pretty unfathomable. I don't really know how I would react. I mean, it's pretty hard to imagine a creature that big. I mean, you can see it all the time, like on documentaries or on YouTube of people whale watching or happen to stumble upon a whale. But to actually see one face to face, now that's gonna be pretty cool. Next up, we have the ladybug. I'm just gonna put it in average. I mean, not much of an impression on it. The only thing I can remember about ladybug is that when I was really young, one flew onto my arm. And I was like shouting, and my mom told me it's just a ladybug. Yeah, that's about it. Not much of an impression. Butterflies, I'm gonna put them in good. Quick story for y'all. I used to have a like lime plant outside, and the butterflies will lay their eggs on it, right? It'd be caterpillars growing on the plants. So I used to bring them in, raise them to become a butterfly, and then release the butterfly. So yeah, pretty cool. I mean, I've seen the butterfly like literally come out of the cocoon and it's pretty cool. So yeah, and it's pretty nice to look at as well. So I think B is fair. Next up, the camel. This is an interesting one. Probably just gonna put it average. Behind the bat. Actually no, in front of the bat. Okay, I'll be nice. It goes in front of the bat. I don't really have much of an impression of a camel. I mean, I seen some in the zoo. I remember when I went to KL Zoo like a few years ago, I did see a camel. And not much of an impression, honestly. It looks cool. The fact they can eat cactuses is insane. I mean, there was that video where they fed it a cactus and then like, I think like a lemon or something. I can't remember what it was. But it looked like I wanted to puke. But it could eat cactus. I mean, that's the point, right? Very cool, but not much of an impression. Next up, we have the centipede. Looking at the centipede, the only thing I can think of is like the giant centipede, and just for that, it just has to go to S. I mean, there's no other creature that looks that scary, and you wouldn't want to get bitten by. I mean, I don't think you want to get bitten by any of these anyways, but it is pretty cool, and I'll give it S any day. I don't think I've seen the giant one before, but I've seen the small ones, and those alone are really creepy. So now imagine the ones that are like at the top. Yeah, don't really want to deal with that. Next up, we have the raven or the crow. I think we did this already, right? I think I put it here. I'm not sure. I can't remember because genuinely I re-recorded this so many times. But anyways, I'll just put this in good. Not much of an impression of the crow. Very, very intelligent bird. They have the intelligence of like a child. They understand like how water physics works, and that they can get food by, putting rocks or drink water by putting rocks in the water bottle. Very cool creature. Not sure if I've done it yet. If I done and the rating changed, oh well. But yeah, I think B is a decent tier. Next up, we have the chimpanzee. Considering I don't see any monkey, never mind. Let's just go this as the monkey, and I'll put this. Oh, there's a gorilla there. Okay, never mind. I'll put this as A. Might as well do the gorilla now. Gorilla's S. Every time I go to the zoo and see a gorilla, 10 out of 10 experience. I mean, if you haven't seen a gorilla, you really need to see one. It's a very cool creature. Regular monkeys, though, I'm putting them in A out of fear, behind the B. A out of fear because sometimes I go on walks with my girlfriend. I do see monkeys, and it is very scary knowing that they can actually just attack you and, decimate you. Especially like the stories of the chimpanzee. Very difficult to put it any lower than A. I mean, people have tried to domesticate monkeys, if you want to call them that. There's been some horrible experiments done on monkeys. But anyways, I think A is a fair tier for them. All in all, like, apart from the chimpanzee, like the orangutan, pretty cool monkey. They used to have Aming in Singapore Zoo, and I did get to see him a few times. Pretty cool. I get that not all monkey species are as aggressive as a chimpanzee. Like, I don't think a gorilla would do the same thing a chimpanzee would do to you. They'd probably just punch you and you'd be out cold. But still very cool. All in all, I mean, apparently humans have a somewhat lineage to monkeys or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty good tier. Next up, cockroaches. F. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain that one. Cows, I'll put them in like average, in front of the camel. Not much of an impression of cows, but I have seen them a couple of times, and yeah, especially when you're in Penang, there's a lot of cows at the side of the street. And I used to mistake cows for bulls. So there was once when I was young, I was wearing a red color t-shirt. I thought the cow was gonna charge me, but I mean, didn't do anything, obviously. Yeah, not much of an impression. Pretty cool creature. I mean, I do like to drink milk, and milk comes from cows. Actually, no, just because of that, good. It's gonna go at the bottom of good. Just because I like milk, and milk comes from cows. Next up, crabs. Absolute top of S tier. I don't know if y'all know the theory that eventually everything will evolve into a crab. Yeah, very cool. I do like to eat crab, I'll say that. But there are some really insane looking crabs, like the Dungeness crab or the Japanese, what do you call it, spider crab? Yeah, the really cool looking one. I like crabs a lot. Very cool creatures, yeah. Top of the top. Next up, grasshoppers. Top of F tier. Absolutely top of F tier. No, bottom of F tier. The worst of the worst. Just a fun fact for y'all. When I was making, I think it was the bird video, one of the birds ate grasshoppers, and I had to get a picture of a grasshopper, right? And just looking at it, I felt like puking. I genuinely have a hatred towards grasshoppers. I don't know why. I've seen a few in real life before, and every single time I just feel sick. I don't like them at all. They look so weird. Like, what's going on with their legs? And their face. It's no. In fact, looking at this picture now is making me slightly uncomfortable, but because it's small, I'll endure it. But anyways, F tier, absolute worst of the worst. No questions about it. I hate grasshoppers. It should not exist. Next, is this all crocodilians? Because if it's all crocodilians, it's gonna be A. If this is because it looks like a baby crocodile, not very intimidating. Actually, no. I think it'd be an S. But the S tier is getting a bit too high. Perhaps I put the gorilla at the top of A. You know, so it's still above the regular chimp. Yeah, I think this is good. Rearrange it like that. Yeah, crocodiles are very cool. I said it in a reptile video, but there's been so many unconfirmed deaths because of Nile crocodiles that it's insane. Alligators are like the tamer versions. Gharials are my favorite. Caimans, not really much impression. Because when I was younger, I learned about crocodiles, alligators, and Singapore Zoo used to have a gigantic gharial inside. But Cayman was, I think it was like in the Orlando, like Animal Kingdom, was the first time I saw a caiman, and I kept calling it a crocodile, and then there was a big sign that says a caiman, and I was just very puzzled how there was a fourth one. So not much impressions of that, but overall crocodilians, very cool. Okay, this one, this looks like I don't even know what it's called. Deer? Is this a deer? Anyways, it's just going to the same place as the other guy. Not much impression of it, especially since you don't really see them in the wild. I rarely see them in zoos also. So, C. Dolphins, put it at the bottom of A. Just because I've interacted with a few before. And very intelligent creatures. Of course, the way that aquariums keep them needs to be regulated heavily. They are way too smart for their own good, and they are also insane animals. They bully pufferfish, bully like stingrays. Really cool creature. Bottom of A. Not much of an impression other than that. Elephants, I think it's fair to put it in like top of B. Very weird ranking, but I mean I do have like some impressions of it. And I've seen, I think elephants are just too common. You see them everywhere in zoos. Every zoo in the world at least has an elephant. I mean, I can say the same about most of the animals here, but elephants are like the most neutral for me. Don't have much of an opinion on it, but I'll just say it's good. I'll put it in front of the cow. Flamingos. Didn't really have much of an impression until Singapore opened Bird Paradise, and there was the flamingo at, like, I don't know, exhibit or what you would call it. But I mean, they were just like free ranging, and it was really nice because they're all like bright pink, very nice to look at, very pleasing to the eyes. For that, I'll give them B. Good. Is that fleas? Looks like flea. If it is F, fleas are just not good. Nope, we just don't deal with the fleas. Foxes are really cute. I've also heard a lot of stories about how keeping foxes is not good because it just destroys your house essentially. But they're really cute. The sounds they make is adorable. I've also heard them make some weird noises. Like, you know, those videos that are like, if you hear this at night, you won't know, but it's a fox. Yeah, I've seen those. Not much of an impression apart from that, so I'll just put it in bottom of good. Above the cow. And the elephant. Next up, we have the giraffe. For bias reasons, I'm putting the giraffe right in front of the two in front of the elephant. Actually, no, just right in front. I think the foxes are cooler than giraffe. I've fed giraffes before, but overall they're just like, you know, really big creatures. The only cool thing that I can say about them is how if they kick you, you're probably gonna die. Yeah, it's just extremely powerful kick for their size. Very powerful. But apart from that, just a cool creature in general. Next up, the goat. Let's see. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but okay, considering I'm thinking so much, just average. I don't think it's much of an impression on me if I'm having to think about it so much. So I'll put it probably in front of the deer. I know there's like some like satanic connotations with the goat. Not really into that, but I mean, it's not much of a impression, I guess. I've tried goat's milk before, I can say that. Tastes like milk, so yeah. Next up, the goose. Top of A tier. If an animal outright like chooses to 1v1 humans, has to be a great animal. I mean, most of the animals here, like even the wolves and everything, you see one in the wild, they might go after you just because they want food, but generally they will not go after humans. Unlike geese, who, yeah, need I say more? Very powerful, alpha-looking birds. I'll give it to them. This bird, no idea what it is. Looks like a normal bird, so let's put it at the bottom of C. Is that that's a hedgehog. Hedgehogs, I mean, I think their porcupine cousins or brothers look way better than them in terms of scariness. In terms of cuteness, though, it's up there. For that, I'll put it at the top of C. Not much of an opinion of it. Hippos, number 1 cause of death in Africa every year. For that, I think the lowest bottom of S. To get a title of most number of deaths in Africa a year, I think that deserves right at the top of S. Horses, unfortunately not an Uma Musume fan. I've ridden them before, pretty cool. I'll put them this top of C. Sorry all my Uma Musume fans. Not a huge fan of horses here. The fly, I think it's above the grasshopper. I don't think I need to say more about that. Jellyfish, below the geese. Of course, you can't talk about jellyfish without talking about the box jellyfish, one of the most dangerous animals in the world if you touch it. But when I think of a jellyfish, apart from the box jellyfish, one of the jellyfish which leaves a lasting impression of me is actually the moon jelly. Because you go to an aquarium and you see like a bunch of them in a tank under the like blue light, really cool to look at. Yeah. Anyways, I think A is a fair ranking, so I'll leave it there. Next up, is that a kangaroo or wallaby? I think kangaroo is gonna be like middle of B, probably here. They're very powerful kicks, just like a giraffe. They can like bounce off the tail and kick you really hard. Very powerful creatures. Honestly, not much of an impression also. I think I've pet a kangaroo before when I was in Australia, like when I was really young. But I can't really confirm that. I know I've seen them before, probably pet them before. But when they're young as a joey, it's very cute. But when they grow big, it's quite scary actually. Koala bear, I'm gonna put it like S, like bottom of S. Just because when I was young, the first time my parents brought me to Australia when I was like a really young kid, the first plush toy I got was a plush toy of a koala bear. I think I still have it actually. And it was really cute and I liked it a lot. So just because of that, S tier. Other than that, pretty weird animals. Just eat eucalyptus leaves every day and just like laze around. I heard that they are like quite territorial. They can be aggressive, but I mean, pretty cute. They do what they do, you know? Next up, is that a jaguar or a cheetah? I can't really tell. Either way, I mean, if it's a cheetah, it's like C, or maybe even D, just because of how inefficient they use their energy. But if it's a jaguar, that's a B. Considering I can't tell which is which, looks more like a jaguar, but I don't know if there's gonna be another cheetah, so I'm just gonna put it in C. Just you know, in between the two, average. Cheetahs can run really fast, but they run out of energy really, really fast too. You can't outrun a cheetah at max speed, but in terms of stamina, you could probably outrun it just because it doesn't have that much. Jaguars, on the other hand, you've seen them hunt, insane. They like jump from trees into the river to eat. They can eat caiman, they eat crocodiles. Very powerful creatures, very cool creatures. That's why we have been B. But anyways, we averaged it C. Next up, the lion. Lion, I don't know if they are considered like alpha males or beta males, because honestly, the one that do the hunting is the lioness, not actually the lions. The lions just eat. So that could be considered an alpha maneuver because you make the females do it, or that could be a beta maneuver because an alpha should do it themselves. You know, it's very hard to say. Either way, not much of an impression on lions, honestly. Lion King was a good movie, I'll say that. Put it probably B tier below the ants. Yeah. I'll say it again for those who don't know. The lionesses do the hunting. The actual lions, like the male ones with the mane, they don't do anything. Quite lazy. In fact, the only times they do the hunting is if they're exiled from a pack or they don't have a pack and they have to find food desperately by themselves. Okay, lizard. I don't know if it's gonna be like a Komodo dragon or monitor lizard section, but if there's none, I'm putting the lizard up in S. If there is, the lizard's going down to B, because normal like lizards and geckos, not much of an impression. You know, the regular house lizard, I see it every day, it doesn't really matter. But if it's including Komodo dragons and monitor lizards, yeah, very powerful. I love monitor lizards. The whole thing about like the Jimmy joke in the channel. Yeah, I don't know. I named the monitor lizard that once, and now his name is Jimmy. But monitor lizards and Komodo dragons, especially Komodo dragons, are my favorite lizards. The fact that there's a lizard that when it bites you, is really, really bad. And I think there's a debate whether is it like bacteria in their mouth or they're venomous or something. Very cool lizards. 10 out of 10. Deserves to be an S tier. Unfortunately, due to the fact that everything eventually evolves into a crab, the crab is still the top of S tier. Next up, we have a duck. If I had a pet bird, I'd probably have a duck. I think I've said that before to my parents. But ducks are pretty cool, I guess. So cool that they're gonna be probably here. Yeah, here. I think the one on the picture is like a Mandarin duck or something, but like the regular white duck's actually pretty cute. So yeah. Is that a mole rat? I don't really know what this is, but I guess you call it a mole. I've seen them dig in the ground before. Very cool animals. So you give them a B just because they're cute and they like dig. Probably here. Actually, on second thought, I think the butterfly goes here. Yeah, much better. But yeah, for the moles, I don't know if there's a mole rat, but I'm pretty sure they're like blind and they just dig tunnels under the ground. But I've seen a lot of like YouTube videos of them just like popping out, people pulling them out, and they're really cute. So their digging ability plus their cuteness warrants them a B tier. Next up, a monkey. Okay, so that was supposed to be a chimpanzee. Okay, so chimpanzee goes up. No, I think A so far is good. I'll put the monkey in B. Like regular monkeys, they're not chimpanzees, not as cool. Just average. I'll just put them like probably in front of giraffe. So mosquito. Mosquito probably like here. At least the housefly doesn't bite you, you know? At least the housefly doesn't bite you. The worst creation that God has made, the mosquitoes, yep. Next, this winged insect that I have no idea what it is, but the picture itself terrifies me, so I'll put it in front of flies. I'll put it at the top of F, actually. Rats. More and more places are beginning to have rat problems, and rats in itself, very cool. The way that they adapt, the way that they move in their packs and how they do things. Very cool creature. But for society, rats are just bad, so I'm just gonna put them in D. Like, no, we don't need rats. I don't know what this is. Is that supposed to be like microorganisms? If so, I'm gonna assume it's microorganisms. I put in average. Not much opinions about it. Octopus. Octopus are very cool. I think that octopus in general, especially giant octopus, very, very cool. Very, very big. And I mean, there's the story about them eating like opening this tank, going to another tank and eating a shark in an aquarium, right? That has to be worth something. So I think I'll put it probably here. Very cool. I like octopuses a lot. Next up, we have the ostrich. I think I'll put it in front of the giraffe, in front of the monkey. I'm not sure if they're the biggest bird alive, or is it the emu or the cassowary? Probably cassowary, but ostriches are very cool. They scare me just because of how big they are. And I kind of heard stories of how if an ostrich kicks you, it's just not good. You might you might go on to the other side if they do kick you. It's quite a scary proposition for an ostrich. So a fair rating, I think. Next, we have the otter. I think I'll put the otter probably above, around where the ostrich is, right above the ostrich. I've seen a few wild otters before. There are some around where I live, and it's pretty cool the way they like swim together, catch fish together. But if you do piss them off or you get too close, especially to their young, they will destroy you. They could probably end the human. Yeah, Very powerful creatures, even though they're small. Especially like the giant otter. Yeah, very, very cool. I think it's a good, solid, good rating. Next, we have the owl. Fun fact, I think the owl is my mom's favorite bird. For that alone, I am putting an A tier. Probably here. My mom also loves the gorilla, so I think it's beside the gorilla. Owls, I mean, they are very cool. They are primarily nocturnal, though they are owls that can function during the day. The way that they can use their like insane eyesight and just like eat a mice or a rat and just swoop down, absolutely no sound. Whatever they're trying to eat doesn't even know they're about to be eaten. Very cool. Yep. Next we have, is that a bull? I don't know what that is. Looks like a bull. I'm gonna put it with the cow. I mean, essentially the same thing. Just that the bulls have like the bull fight, which is quite bad, but yeah, this is what it is. I think beside the cow is fair. Next up, we have the panda. River Wonders in Singapore has a panda, so I've seen it before. I've also seen it in other zoos around the world, and like in KL one as well, there's like panda. But pretty cool, pretty lazy bears. If they wanted to kill you, they could, but you know, they have all this bear muscle, bear power, and they use it to eat bamboo and be lazy. Wasted potential. But just because they're cute. Bottom of A tier. Next up, I have the macaw. I'm gonna put it bad. This is a controversial one, but the reason it's bad is because it's noisy. I've been around one when I was young. Really noisy. Also, people keep them as pets, not realizing that they live till like 80 years or something. Yeah, so it's like, in the wild, probably it's pretty good, but domesticated, it lives way too long. Like 80-year commitment for a pet is crazy, and it's noisy. Yeah, no. Penguins, very cute, very, very cute. I'll put them like, probably bottom B, just because of their cute. I would put them in C, honestly, but yeah, bottom of B because it's cute. Axolotls are S tier, easy S tier, probably here. Regeneration, look cute, can only be found in like one lake in the world. Yeah, pretty cool creature. I mean, the pet trait single-handedly saved the axolotls, honestly. But very cool. Pigs, this picture's not doing it justice, but pigs can be quite cute. I'm gonna put it at the goats just because I don't really have an impression of them, but pigs can be quite cute, so I'll just leave them there. Pigeons, I saw a Wendy Gun video about how pigeons used to be insane, but then they got nerfed. I guess I'll put them like average. I mean, post-nerf pigeons, like right now, I'll put them in bad. They just make a lot of noise and their droppings go everywhere. I'll put it at top of D though. They're close to C. Praying mantis, the first insect, I'll just put in average. Not much of an opinion on it. They're pretty cool, especially there's like the flower looking ones. But overall, I mean, when I was young, not used to, it happened once. There was a praying mantis outside the house, like first time I've ever seen one, and I squatted there for like an hour talking to it. So compared to the grasshopper, yeah, praying mantis is pretty cool. I've seen that the real big ones have eaten small birds, and for an insect to eat a bird, yeah, that's pretty metal, honestly. Rabbits, not much opinion on them. I'll just put them here, probably below the mantis. Raccoons, again, not something that I have too much of an impression on, but I'll put it bad. Okay, no, I think that's a bit too harsh. They're kind of cute. Put them bottom of C, because I do know that they carry rabies and they eat like trash in US, right? Next, is this a mice? I don't know what's the difference between mice and rat, honestly. I think rats are like worse, right? But mice are cute, kind of. Because I don't know the difference, I'm just gonna put them like in D. Just put them together. But I'll put them at the top of D just because it's cute. Here, okay. Next up, another bird. Again, not much opinions. I don't really know what species of bird this is. So it's just gonna go... it's pretty cool though. It's cooler than the other one. So I'll do it like this. Scorpions. Scorpions were my first animal that I like. Very, very cool. They have the pinches at the front, the stinger at the back. Looks insane. I don't think it's worth S tier. It's also not as alpha as a goose, so I'll probably put it in the top of A tier. Very cool, and also they have like bioluminescence. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Next up, we have the seagull. Noisy ass creatures. I have nothing good to say about them. The last time I've been to San Francisco, at the pier, extremely noisy. I greatly dislike seagulls. I think that the color is nice, like the white and the gray. But that's all the good things. That's where the good things end. But considering I put raccoons in C, I think the seagulls can be right beside them. Right here. Sharks, S. I don't think we need to talk too much about that. Sharks are incredible. I'll put them behind the axolotls just because I think axolotls are cooler in terms of adaptation. But the lineage of sharks from like the megalodon until now, where we have like the Greenland shark, the great white shark, you know, I mean, I can just list off so many. Very cool. Of course, tiger sharks and bull sharks, very scary. And I just found out that in Singapore waters, there are sharks, and a lot of the sharks like can come to Singapore if they really wanted to. Which is adding a phobia to me, which I didn't know I ever had. I don't really have thalassophobia, but the knowledge of the sharks being here might make me get thalassophobia. Who knows? But anyways, sharks are very cool, incredible. I don't think I need to say more about that. Is this like a young goat? I don't even know what this is. Could be a young sheep. Very weird pictures that they chose to use. But I'll just put it beside the goat. If it's sheep, not much of things I need to say. It's cool. Snakes. They use a picture of a cobra. Cobra is my favorite snake. Put it in S, of course. Snakes are one of my favorite creatures. Cobras especially. When I was young, there used to be a huge cobra in Singapore Zoo. Very, very, very large, very long. And the hood thing is like, wow, it's so cool. Yeah, it's a hood. Yeah. Of course, there are others like, you know, the highly venomous cottonmouth. There's like the rattlesnake, black mamba. Black mamba's another cool one that I do like. But cobras are my favorite. Snakes are cool. I just find anacondas really creepy just because, you know, they're in the water. Their face has that weird pattern, and then they can just like strangle you to death essentially. Yeah, but apart from that, very cool. Love snakes. Next we have is that a spider? I don't really have much issue with spiders. In fact, I think like tarantulas are pretty cool. I'm putting that at the bottom of average. Not much opinions on them, honestly. Squirrels, yeah, average. Again, not something I have too many opinions on. Yeah, I think this is good. This is good. Yup, I had to re-record the entirety of the next part because the screen recording like messed up and y'all could not see essentially half the tier list. So we're back again at the starfish. Nothing much to say about them, honestly. Pretty average creatures. Probably put them below the spider. Really have not much of an impression about them. And yeah. The swan, honestly, is the more alpha duck, so it goes in front of the duck. It does the same as what the duck does, and it's even more alpha than that, especially if you're in their territory. And I have been to Hyde Park in London, and it's just filled with swans. Very cool. In fact, probably one of the first times I saw a swan in my life. Very cool creature. 10 out of 10. Not S tier, but I think A is good. Next is the domestic cat. I'm not really a cat person, I'm more of a dog person, but I've been watching a lot of cat videos on YouTube recently. Probably put it like good. No. Bottom of great. The fact that we domesticated them, but they still have like a wild side to them, is pretty insane. And I mean, they're cute. I think bottom of A is good. The toad. The only thing I think about is like the cane toad, which is like really, you wouldn't want to touch it. Let's put it that way. But other than that, not much of an opinion. So I guess I'll put it bottom of good. Walrus. I've seen this like a couple times in my life. Not much of an opinion, but yet again, having two like tusks at the front of their mouth is pretty cool. That has to be worth something. I'll put them. I put them in good, but probably in front of the lion. Yeah, this is good. Next up, the wasp. I will assume it's the wasp. Yeah, I don't see anything else. It's that, the wasp. I'm gonna put like wasp and hornet together. They don't function as well as bees. In fact, they're quite a problem in some places. So, also their sting is apparently really bad. So I'm just gonna put them here. Like a lot of good. Nothing against them. I have nothing against them. Just that they don't have the same level that a bee has, you know? Woodpecker. Okay, I'm gonna put woodpecker. The first bird that I can actually identify, I'm putting in good. Probably above the ostrich. Yeah. The first time I saw a woodpecker was when I was walking in the park and I heard this like knocking noise on a tree and I looked up and it was right there. Very, very small bird, very cute. The way that it can like grab onto the tree is insane. It's something else, let's put it that way. I like it a lot. Not much complaints about it. Very cool bird. Next up, the earthworm. Okay, I can't put them in F or D just because they kind of need to be there for the soil, right? I'll put them like above the starfish. I don't like how they look. I'm very clear about that. I don't like how they look. Zebra is going straight to where the elephant and the giraffe is. Probably above them just because we've tried to domesticate them but failed. So the zebra resisted domestication. I'll put them there. Pretty cool. Snails, because of Uzumaki, I'm putting them F. I can't think of snails any other way after Uzumaki, but I'll put it at the top of F. Moth. I've seen the moth with a face like that before, like once, and I don't know why, it genuinely made me feel very sick. Like, I've watched YouTube videos of them, of like people breeding moths, and I'm like, okay, I can see why it's cute. But I've seen one of this like in real, it was dead already on the floor, and I saw its face, I just felt like horrific. But because I've thought of them being cute before, I'm putting them just in D. They're just bad, not horrific, but I don't like them. I don't like seeing them in real life, to be specific. Okay, squid. If I put the whale in S, the squid has to be like next to the whale, right? Because they essentially have the same ability. Not same ability, but they fight like the sperm whale, and fighting the squid. Yeah, I think it should be there. Next, we have that turtle. I like turtles. Turtles are cool, but they scare me because I don't know if they're gonna bite me. And I heard that a turtle bite is very painful. Also, people keeping turtles and then releasing them in like rivers is quite bad. I'll put turtles. Bottom of B should be good. Red panda, very cute. Putting it beside the cat, obviously, it's such a cute creature. The way that they stand up when they feel threatened, not really scary, but they try to be scary at least. I'll give them that. Yeah, beside the cat, pretty good. Secretary bird, S tier. The fact I can recognize it by its face is insane. Putting it probably here. In case y'all don't know or you didn't watch the bird video, watch it by the way, it's pretty good. They stomp on snakes. They eat snakes and they stomp on snakes. Very powerful. I like them a lot. Incredible creatures. Yeah, what more do I need to say? If you want to know more, check out the bird video. Next. Oh, that's a skunk, not a honey badger. Sorry. We started the sloth. Again, another weird fact about my mom is she loves the sloth in Zootopia. I do think that they're quite cute. I've seen a lot of videos of people picking them up like when they're on the road and putting them on the tree and then doing like a little wave. Very cute. I'll put them in A. Probably in front of behind the red panda. That standing up scare by the red panda, nothing can beat that. Alright, next up we got the skunk. So if they don't stink, they're like kind of cute, right? And I know that some of like the domesticated skunks, they don't really stink. So I guess I'll put them like here beside the squirrel, because squirrels are kind of cute. Okay, I just realized putting the squirrel beside the raccoon is kind of insane. I'll put the squirrel beside the rabbit, and I'll put the skunk in front of them. The stinking thing is pretty cool though. Like if the predator comes close, they stink up, and yeah, I mean pretty cool. This thing, it looks very familiar. I remember reading about this like a couple years back, something like that. I can't remember what it's called though. But I know that it's pretty good, so I was putting good, the bottom of good, just because I can't remember. Sorry, whatever you are. You could have been higher if I remembered. Hummingbird, seen this a few times as well. Pretty cool. Probably put this in average. Not much of a thought honestly, above this other bird thing. Pretty cool how fast they flap their wings and they can like fly in place and stuff, but meh, not much of an opinion. Meerkats, another bunch of creatures that I don't really have much of an opinion on. I know that they group up right in Africa. They like group up and then they like figure out whether an animal's coming to attack them or something. Not much other than that. Pretty decent. I think they eat snakes or something, right? They're pretty cool with that. I think they eat snakes. If they do, if memory serves you right and they do, I guess I'll put them beside the zebra. Not beside the monkey. Yeah. This is not alpaca. This is the spitting one. I can't remember his name. It's a llama. Yeah, it's a llama. D. So funny story. There was once the first time I went to the zoo. I went too close to the llama. I spit in my face and I immediately fell sick. Yeah, D. Sorry. Alpacas are cuter. Next, a kingfisher. Is this a kingfisher? Yeah, it probably is. I've seen it many times. Very cool, especially when they dive into the water. I'll probably put it beside a hummingbird. Probably in front of the hummingbird. Just because seeing them dive into the water, eat and come up, very cool. Is this a possum? If it is, it looks like a possum. Probably put it beside the skunk. Though I don't think I've seen one before. So I don't really have too much of an opinion on something I've never seen before. Unlike the anteater, A tier. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to shift this. But A tier. Very cool. The fact you can destroy the mounds, lick into the mounds, eating ants. The ants' natural predator. In fact, you know what? I'll put it at the bottom. I'll put it at the top of B, just beside the ants. It's an alpha move. Yep. Next, the vulture. Another very cool bird of prey. Scavengers. Very, very important in like picking up bones. And as I said again in the bird video, their stomach acid is so strong they can dissolve bones. Very cool. I'll put them probably in great. Beside the eagle, I guess. Yeah. I do like the actually, and I can't. I feel it's unfair. I'll put it in front of the owl. Vultures were my first like favorite bird before I figured out the secretary bird. They were one of my favorites. Vultures and eagles especially. Owls scared me because the first time I saw an owl, it did the like 180-degree rotation thing. Very, very scary. To a kid at least. But vultures are very cool. Yeah. I think it's okay, never mind. Now that I said that, probably I have to put it here. I'll shift it up. Top of A tier. Near the top. Can't beat two alpha birds that like attack humans. Vultures won't attack humans. Is this a bat? If it is, put it together with the other bat. I don't really know why there's like two. What's the difference? But yeah. In fact, I can't find the other bats here. I'll put it here. Oh, is that a flying fox? I don't know. I can't really tell. I can't really tell from the picture, but I'll just put them together. If it was a flying fox, it'd probably be like this. Yeah. Anyways, I'll put them together. Oh, funny story about a bat. During COVID, right, when everything was like on lockdown, I went out one time for a walk in the park. And when I was coming back, there was this little like squeaky creature on the floor. And it was actually a baby bat. So I like picked it up, put it onto a tree, and it just climbed out the tree. I don't know if that was what I was supposed to do. I mean, I used a stick, like it grabbed onto a stick and then I put the stick on the tree and it climbed up the tree. And yeah, very cute. I don't know what this is. It looks like a raccoon. Doesn't look like it either, but I'll put it as a raccoon. It looks pretty cool, I guess. I think this is fair. Next, we have, I think it's a beluga whale. Beluga whale is very cool. I think there was like a Russian spy one that died recently, if I'm not wrong. Very cool creatures. Apparently they have that hump at the top of their head is soft. Probably put it like, I don't think it's A, I think it's B. But it's very cute. I think it's very, very cute. I'll put it probably, I'll put it in front of the turtle. I don't really have much to say about it, but pretty cool. Also, I just realized there's like a bunch of monkeys down here. So indeed the chimpanzee, I think it can be shifted like here, out of here. There is going to be a pure chimpanzee ranking. Next, we have the cuttlefish. Apparently it's venomous if it bites you. Didn't know that, but it's color changing, very good at like problem solving, pretty good creature. Oh yeah, the octopus is pretty good at that too, but very cool. I'll probably put it together the octopus. It's insane, like the color changing and everything, and the fact that they're venomous. Very cool. Also, I just realized, forgot to mention, octopus. Of course, can't talk about that without talking about the blue ring octopus. Incredible creature. Very venomous if it bites you. And yeah, same thing with the cuttlefish. I don't know. I think the cuttlefish venom is the same as like a blue ring octopus. I'm not too sure though. I mean, don't quote me on that, but still pretty cool. And they do swim funny. I'll say that, like the things at the side starts moving. Pretty cool. Next is the dog. I said I'm a dog person, but I'll be fair, I'll put it beside the cat. Frankly, if not for the fact of the cat like potentially damaging my furniture, I might lean towards the cat more. But dogs, man's best friend, how can you go wrong? Frankly, they should both go up to S tier just because man's best friend, the dog, and the domesticated house cat. Very cool creatures. What more may I say? Another rodent looking thing. I don't know what these is. I don't know what the next thing is. I don't know what these two are. So based on their looks, okay, I can't put that at the mice because I gotta base it off their looks, right? But I'll probably put it here. I don't know what they are. I really don't know what they are. I think in fact I'll be nice. I'll make another tier. Never seen before. All right, and I'll transfer some stuff there. I'll put these two there. I'm nice. I haven't put that one, but this one. I've never seen this before. Yeah, the insect. No, this flying thing can stay there because it just looks disgusting. Anyways, pangolin. A tier, absolute A tier. One of the only animals that looks like it, of its kind. The armor plating, so cute. It rolls up. I play Dota. There's the hero Pangolia. Looks the same. I mean, probably inspired from this guy. Very cool. I don't think it's that high though. Probably like here, above the gorilla. Very nice. Very cute creatures, and yeah, very tanky. Rhino. Okay, so rhinos are like probably above the rest of the African animal bunch. I'll probably put rhinos in A. No, probably not. Probably below the lion. They can get very aggressive, especially since they can't see very well. So, yeah. Of course, they are endangered because of like the horn trait, right? The white rhinos, but very cool. I do like rhinos a lot. Another thing I don't know what is this. I can like kind of think of the head in my name, but I don't know how to say it. I'm just gonna put it here. Oh, there is a tier for geckos. Oh, okay. Geckos, I'll put them. It's like regular lizards, right? I'll put them like here. Yeah. I saw that in Thailand, there is like the really gigantic ones. I don't know if that's cool or scary, but they exist, I guess. I mean, here we have the small ones. If you really look at them, there's like distinct patternings on their back. Quite cool. But the regular house lizard, which I'm considering under the same category, I mean, not much of an opinion. They do exist, and it is what it is. Is this a lemur? It's the Madagascar guy, probably a lemur. Again, I don't really know much facts about lemurs actually. I'll put them in average, I guess. Oh, this thing goes in the never see before too. Yeah, put them. Nah, they can't be below a seagull or the skunk. I think it should be like this. Yep, much better. Okay. Dragonfly. Dragonflies are one of the fastest flying insects, right? It moves omnidirectionally. Means every direction. Where I put it here. It has to be good at least, because the larva is like the thing that eats things underwater. I know it's very specific what I'm saying. But the larva is like hyper aggressive under the water, right? It's insane. Like it hides and then it uses like its mandibles and eats things underwater. It's very cool. But when they become dragonflies, I guess like the best part about them is being able to fly omnidirectionally. So yeah, it has to be good. Beetles. I'm gonna include all the stack beetles. Yeah, For those who don't know what I'm talking about, these guys, like these things. My favorite stack beetle is actually no, it's this. This is my favorite, followed by, is it this? Wait, no, not rhinoceros. Hercules. The Atlas beetle and the Hercules beetle are two of my favorites. I have not seen it in real life before, unfortunately. The Atlas I think I have. The Hercules I have not. But really cool, my favorite of all time. I've seen that you can keep them as pets, pretty easy to keep as well. But the problem is, yeah, I don't feel comfortable keeping like an insect in my house, honestly. But in the future, maybe. Honestly, maybe in the future I might. But just for that, just for the stack beetles alone, I'll put it in S. I love them a lot, honestly. It's so cool. Now, in hindsight, I take back what I said. I would keep it as a pet. I would. If I had the resources, I would. To be able to give it a good life. Is this called a baboon? This is a baboon, right? Baboons, all I remember is that they're quite cool and they like to show people their backs, you know what I mean. Put it, I guess, just because they look very unique, I'll put it like here, I guess. Middle of B, probably here. Honestly, the rest of the monkeys, not much of an opinion. I'll put them in average. Except the long-nosed guy. I can't remember his name. I think it's called... I genuinely can't remember the long-nosed guy's name. But... he's pretty cool. I like how he looks. I'll put him the baboon. Is this a wallaby? I'm gonna assume this is a wallaby, which is essentially a smaller kangaroo, right? Yeah, that's the assumption I'm gonna make. As you can tell, I'm well versed in all animals. It's small, it's cute. I guess I'll put it like here. I can't even find the kangaroo's here. I'll put it the kangaroo, I guess. Seals. Talk about like elephant seal, very cool. Regular seals, very cool. Leopard seals, not cool. Not cool at all. Very, very powerful. Have to put them in good, just because of the range, the variety, how they predate on penguins and things. At least the leopard seals. Elephant seals are cool too. Probably put it I like this. I think this is fair. Yeah, with the dolphin. I'm with the beluga whale. And last but not least, the greatest animal of all, man. Below the crab. One day, I'm saying, I'll call it right now. One day, man will become crab. That's all. One day, man will become crab. Yeah, I mean, we have to be S. We're top of the food chain. You know what? Since we are not crabs, I think it's only fair. Man is above crab. For now. When we become crab, the story might change. But man is top, obviously. Every animal on this list, we're capable of hunting. Every animal on this list, we're capable of eating. Not saying we should, but we're capable of doing it. And we have the capability to be the top apex predator. We have to be at the top, best of the best. And of course, I like being man. I'd rather be man than any of the other animals, unless you're in a well-treated, you're a well-treated dog. Maybe you have a good life. But other than that, of course, great to be man. Yeah, anyways, that's the end of the video. Genuinely very jank. I literally just downloaded OBS, click record. I mean, there's some parts I had to cut because I had to go to the toilet and things like that. But that's all it was. I'm gonna try to make it less scuffed next time. But anyways, here's the tier list. Wait, I'll probably... Yep. Oh, we'll zoom out. Here's the tier list. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Your opinions the same, different? Yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Please do like, comment, share, and whatever, and see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.